Hey everyone, I'm Vic. Today, we're diving into the frozen food aisle to uncover 8 frozen meals seniors should avoid, and 2 that are actually healthy. Frozen meals can be a real minefield, especially for seniors. Many are loaded with sky-high sodium, unhealthy fats, and preservatives, while lacking essential nutrients like fiber and lean protein. It's often a trade-off, convenience versus nutrition. But don't worry. This isn't about avoiding the freezer aisle forever. I'll show you what to skip, and then share 2 genuinely healthy options that prove you can have both convenience and good nutrition. Stick around to the end for those recommendations. Let's get started. First up, the classic Salisbury steak dinner. It might feel nostalgic, but it's a nutritional nightmare. Most frozen Salisbury steak meals are packed with sodium, sometimes up to 75% of your daily limit in one tray. The meat is usually fatty and full of fillers, driving up saturated fat and cholesterol. The mashed potatoes are often just powder, and the veggies are over-processed, losing most of their nutrients. You end up with a meal high in salt, unhealthy fats, and calories, but low in real nutrition. For seniors, this combo is a recipe for high blood pressure and heart problems. So, when you see Salisbury steak in the freezer, keep walking. There are much better options ahead. Next, frozen fried chicken meals. They promise crispy, juicy chicken in minutes, but the health cost is steep. These meals are loaded with unhealthy fats from deep frying and often contain trans fats, which are especially bad for your heart. The chicken is usually dark meat with skin, breaded and fried, making it calorie-dense and nutritionally poor. Sodium is sky-high, not just in the chicken, but in the sides and gravies too. For seniors, this means a triple threat: high fat, high calories, and excessive salt. The result? Increased risk of weight gain, high blood pressure, and heart disease. There's little fiber or real nutrition here, just empty calories. The convenience isn't worth the health risk. Skip the frozen fried chicken and look for leaner, less processed options. Your heart will thank you. Let's talk about frozen meatloaf. Homemade can be healthy, but the frozen kind is a different story. These meals are packed with preservatives like sodium nitrate and BHA, which aren't great for long-term health. Sodium is off the charts, especially in the meat and sugary glaze. The meat is usually fatty and low quality, adding more saturated fat and calories. Sides are often instant potatoes and scant, overcooked veggies, minimal nutrition, maximum processing. For seniors, this means more salt, more fat, and fewer nutrients. Frozen meatloaf is a classic example of how convenience can come at the expense of your health. Best to leave it in the freezer. Macaroni and cheese. Comfort food, but not for your health. Frozen versions are made with refined pasta and processed cheese sauce, both high in saturated fat and sodium. The pasta is low in fiber, causing blood sugar spikes, bad news for seniors managing diabetes. The cheese sauce is mostly oils and additives, with little real cheese or nutrition. Fiber is almost non-existent, which can worsen digestive issues like constipation. Sodium levels are sky-high, putting extra strain on your heart and kidneys. It's a high-calorie, high-fat, high-salt meal with almost no nutritional benefit. For seniors, it's a trap. It can spike blood sugar, raise cholesterol, and increase blood pressure. If you want comfort food, look for healthier homemade versions. Skip the frozen mac and cheese. Frozen pot pies look wholesome, but they're a nutritional disaster. The crust is loaded with unhealthy fats, sometimes even trans fats, to keep it flaky after freezing. The filling is mostly salty, fatty gravy with just a few bits of meat and veggies. Calories can easily top 600 per pie, with most coming from fat and refined carbs. The tiny amount of vegetables is overcooked and nutrient poor. For seniors, this means lots of calories, sodium, and unhealthy fats, but little real nutrition. Pot pies are a classic example of ultra-processed food that sacrifices health for convenience. If you want a hearty meal, make a homemade stew instead. Leave the frozen pot pie behind. Frozen breakfast sandwiches are quick, but they're packed with problems. The processed meats, sausage, bacon, ham, are loaded with sodium, saturated fat, and preservatives. The eggs are often processed patties with additives, and the cheese is usually high-sodium American. The bread is refined flour, low in fiber, and can spike your blood sugar. One sandwich can deliver half a day's sodium and a big dose of unhealthy fat before you've even started your day. For seniors, this means higher risk of high blood pressure, cholesterol, and even cancer from certain preservatives. A healthy breakfast should fuel you, not weigh you down. Choose oatmeal, Greek yogurt, or a homemade egg instead. Skip the frozen breakfast sandwich. Frozen pizza is a favorite, but it's a nutritional minefield. The crust is refined flour, empty carbs with no fiber. The sauce is loaded with sodium and sugar, and the cheese piles on saturated fat and more salt. Toppings like pepperoni and sausage are processed meats, adding even more sodium and unhealthy fat. Even veggie pizzas rarely have enough real vegetables to make a difference. A single serving is tiny, but it's easy to eat 2 or 3, blowing past your daily limits for salt and fat. For seniors, this means higher risk of weight gain, high blood pressure, and heart disease. If you love pizza, try making your own with whole grain crust and fresh toppings. Most frozen pizzas are best left as an occasional treat, if at all. Frozen burritos seem like a balanced meal, but they're usually anything but. Sodium is sky high, with one burrito often packing over 1,000 milligrams. The tortilla is refined flour, and the beans are often made with lard and more salt. The meat is low quality and fatty, and the cheese is processed and salty. Fresh veggies are almost non-existent, just a few flecks here and there. Additives and preservatives keep the filling from getting soggy, but add nothing good for your health. It's a sodium bomb with refined carbs, unhealthy fats, and barely any real nutrition. If you want a burrito, make one at home with whole ingredients. Skip the frozen version. Now for some good news, healthy choice. Power bowls are a step in the right direction. These bowls focus on whole ingredients you can actually see: quinoa, greens, beans, and lean chicken or beef. They're built on whole grains and legumes, so they're high in fiber and help keep you full. The protein is lean, which helps maintain muscle without excess fat. Sodium is generally much lower than in most frozen meals, and flavor comes from herbs and spices, not just salt. Always check the label, but many varieties fit well in a heart-healthy diet. Power bowls prove you can have convenience and nutrition in one meal. They're a smart freezer pick for seniors. Another great option is Amy's Light and Lean line. These meals are lower in calories, fat, and sodium, making them ideal for seniors watching their health. Amy's uses organic, whole ingredients. Think real veggies, whole grains, and plant-based proteins. The meals are inspired by global cuisines, but reimagined to be healthier, with lighter sauces and more vegetables. You get balanced nutrition, decent protein and fiber, and fewer artificial additives. Always check the sodium, but these are among the best choices in the freezer aisle. Amy's Light and Lean makes healthy eating easy and convenient. That's our tour. 8 frozen meals to avoid and 2 you can feel good about. The key is reading labels and knowing what's really inside that box. Convenience doesn't have to mean unhealthy. Brands like Healthy Choice and Amy's are leading the way. The more we choose these better options, the more we'll see them on shelves. Make conscious choices, one meal at a time, to fuel your body well as you age. Share your favorite healthy frozen meals in the comments, and let's help each other eat smarter. Thanks for watching, stay healthy, and see you next time.